You know, life has a way of sending whispers before it sends wonders, and when something big is on the way, really big, life doesn't always get louder. Sometimes it gets quiet. Before a breakthrough, you'll feel a breakdown. Before the blessing, there's usually a burden, and before the reward, there's almost always a requirement. Now, I want you to remember something very important. Preparation always comes before promotion. It's a universal law, even nature follows it. The seed breaks before the sprout rises. The soil must be tilled before the harvest can show. And your character, it has to stretch before your dream can stand. When something big is coming your way, it doesn't just show up with fireworks and a welcome mat. It often arrives dressed in challenge, disguised in discomfort, and packaged in waiting. And only those who stay faithful through the process can carry the weight of what's been promised. You see, small minds collapse under big blessings. That's why the process comes first. That's why the resistance is part of the recipe. When life feels like it's pulling away from you, when doors are closing, people are leaving, and answers seem delayed. It may not be punishment. It may be positioning. Because when God is about to give you something big, He often empties your hands first, so you can receive fully. Don't mistake the stretching for the ending. Don't confuse the silence for absence, and whatever you do, don't quit in the hallway when you're just one door away. There's a version of you that's already walking in what you prayed for, but you have to become that version before you receive it. So embrace the becoming, honor the process, because when the big thing shows up, it's going to need all of you to hold it. Breakthrough often follows breakdown. It's a strange truth, isn't it? Right when you feel like you're falling apart, like you've reached your limit, like the weight is just too much to carry, that's when something starts shifting. But it doesn't feel like progress in that moment. It feels like pain. It feels like confusion. It feels like loss. And that's because transformation rarely announces itself politely. It doesn't show up with clarity or comfort. It shows up with pressure. It shows up in the form of discomfort that stretches you in places you didn't know needed stretching. When you break down, it's easy to think you're going backward. It's easy to feel like the dream is dying, like the effort is wasted, like all the momentum you built has come to nothing. But what if the breakdown isn't the end? What if it's the gateway? What if it's the part of the story where everything gets reshaped, not to destroy you, but to prepare you for what's next? Because the truth is, most people quit here. Most people see the breakdown and walk away. They think it's failure. They think it's rejection. But in reality, it's formation. It's the moment life stops being polite and starts being precise. It's the point where your character gets built, your resolve gets tested, and your vision gets refined. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. You're not falling apart. You're being reassembled, piece by piece, into someone stronger, someone clearer, someone capable of carrying the very thing you've been asking for. Sometimes you need the breaking to create space for the blessing. Sometimes you need to reach the edge to realize there's more inside you than you knew. The breakdown isn't the signal to quit. It's the alarm that tells you something is being born. So if you're tired, good. If you're weary, good. If you feel like you can't take another step, you're probably closer than you think. Because the people who experience the greatest breakthroughs aren't the ones who never felt pain. They're the ones who didn't let the pain stop them. You don't get to the mountaintop without climbing. You don't walk in strength without facing the storm. And you don't break through until something in you is broken open. The pressure is not here to crush you. It's here to shape the version of you that's ready for the life waiting on the other side. Big blessings require big preparation. It's easy to ask for more. It's easy to dream of abundance, of opportunity, of success so massive it changes everything. But what we often overlook is the weight that comes with it, the responsibility, the endurance, the strength required to sustain what we prayed for. A big blessing isn't just something you receive, it's something you grow into. It doesn't just land, it stretches. It challenges you to become someone who can carry it with wisdom, not just excitement. Before the reward comes the refinement. Before the stage comes the struggle. And before the spotlight comes the silent preparation in places where no one is clapping, no one is noticing, and no one is validating. That's where the work happens. That's where you're built. Because a blessing too early can feel like a burden. And a door that opens too soon can crush a character that isn't ready. You don't hand the keys of a powerful engine to someone who hasn't yet learned how to drive. You don't give weight to hands that haven't developed the strength to hold it. And you don't pour into a vessel with cracks still healing. Big blessings come with demand. They require vision. They demand discipline. They ask for patience, consistency, and the kind of humility that can stay grounded even when everything starts rising. That's why the preparation feels long. That's why the process can feel invisible. Because what you're being prepared for is bigger than what you see right now. You're not just being delayed. You're being developed. You're not being overlooked. You're being fortified. Every lesson, every failure, every delay. It's not wasted. It's sharpening you. It's teaching you what comfort never could. So don't curse the waiting. Don't despise the process, because the greater the blessing, the deeper the roots must go. If you want to build tall, you have to dig deep. If you want to last long, you have to be anchored strong. And if you're asking for something big, truly big, then expect that your preparation will match it. Because life won't give you what you ask for. It gives you what you're prepared to handle. So keep building, keep growing, keep strengthening the foundation no one sees. Because one day, when the blessing comes, you won't just be ready to receive it, you'll be ready to carry it without breaking. Resistance is a sign that something greater is coming. It doesn't always feel that way. In fact, resistance often feels like life is working against you, like doors are closing, like momentum is fading, like progress is being reversed. But don't let the discomfort fool you. Don't let the tension make you turn around. Because resistance, more often than not, is confirmation. Confirmation that growth is happening. That something valuable is forming, that you're moving closer to something you can't yet see. Every time you push towards something meaningful, you will meet resistance, not because you're wrong, but because you're right. Because progress triggers pressure, because purpose invites obstacles. Just like a plane meets the most wind when it's taking off, you often meet the most resistance right before a rise. And the more significant the destination, the more intense the turbulence. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Strength doesn't form in silence. And breakthroughs don't come without battles. So if you're feeling pressure, good. If you're facing friction, good. If it feels like everything is trying to push you back, it might be because you're on the edge of a breakthrough. You see, resistance doesn't come to stop you. It comes to shape you. It's the weight that builds your resilience. It's the force that forges your focus. It's the fire that burns away the parts of you that can't go to the next level. No one gets stronger without resistance. No one becomes refined without heat. And no dream is born without a struggle. So don't misinterpret the storm. Don't mistake the challenge for a dead end. Sometimes, resistance is life's way of asking, do you really want this? Are you really ready for what's ahead? Will you keep going when it gets heavy, or were you only committed when it was easy? Those who rise aren't the ones who avoided resistance. They're the ones who leaned into it, who used it, who let it mold them into someone capable of carrying more. So if the path is getting harder, if the winds are getting stronger, if the pressure is getting louder, take heart. It's not a setback. It's a signal. It means you're climbing. It means you're entering territory that requires a greater version of you. Keep pushing. Keep showing up. Let resistance be the reminder that something greater is just beyond this moment. Waiting is not punishment. It's positioning. It might feel like delay. It might feel like silence. It might feel like nothing is happening while everything in you is ready to move forward. But waiting is not wasted time. It's shaping time. It's preparing time. It's the space where unseen work begins to build seen results. We live in a world that glorifies speed, that tells you faster is better, sooner is smarter, and waiting is weakness. But purpose doesn't rush, destiny doesn't panic, and timing that's right won't require force. Sometimes the reason you're being asked to wait is because something ahead is being aligned. Something is being moved into place, something you can't see yet. You're not being sidelined, you're being aligned. Think of a seed buried in the ground. It looks like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface there's movement, there's growth, there's transformation. Roots are forming so that the tree can stand strong when it finally breaks through. It's the same with your life. Just because you don't see the results yet doesn't mean the process isn't working. Waiting doesn't mean you're forgotten. It doesn't mean you're off track. It means the season you're in requires more depth, more preparation, more internal building before external blessings arrive. And the truth is, some things you're asking for require you to become someone different. They require you to be more focused, more disciplined, more grounded, and that transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the waiting, so don't rush the process. Don't try to escape the pause, because what feels like a delay may actually be divine protection. What looks like a detour might be the very thing guiding you to something better. You're not behind. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. Sometimes the waiting is building the patience you'll need once the door opens. Sometimes it's forging the wisdom you'll need to keep what you receive. And sometimes it's simply teaching you how to trust, deeply, fully, beyond what your eyes can see. Waiting isn't empty, it's filled with purpose. It's where the roots of your next season are growing. So instead of asking, why am I still waiting? Start asking, what am I becoming while I wait? Because when the moment comes, when the door opens, when the blessing finally arrives, you'll realize that every second of waiting was part of your preparation. And you'll walk into it with clarity, not confusion. With strength, not fear, because you didn't just wait. You grew. Growth happens in silence and discomfort, not in the spotlight, not in applause, not in the easy days where everything flows just right. Growth happens when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when you're left with your thoughts, your struggle, your questions. It happens in the quiet corners of life, where routines feel repetitive, where progress feels invisible, where you show up even when motivation is missing. Discomfort is the soil where growth takes root, not because it feels good, but because it stretches you, because it calls out the parts of you that comfort never could. You don't become stronger when things are easy. You become stronger when you're tested, when you're pushed, when you face moments that make you question everything and still choose to keep going. Silence can feel like emptiness. It can feel like you're being overlooked, forgotten, passed by. But it's in the silence that clarity begins. It's in the silence that distractions fade. It's in the silence that you hear what really matters. Growth doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like stillness. Sometimes it looks like showing up day after day with no immediate reward. Sometimes it looks like letting go of what once defined you, so something new can be born. Discomfort is not the enemy. It's the evidence that you're expanding. It's the proof that you're stepping beyond your limits. It's the tension that creates transformation. There's a version of you waiting on the other side of the hard things. Not a louder version, not a flashier one, but a deeper one, a wiser one, a more grounded one. You don't build character in celebration. You build it in challenge, in silence, in moments where you could quit. But don't, where you could run, but stay. Where you could shrink, but stretch instead. Don't be fooled by quiet seasons. Don't think they mean nothing is happening. A seed makes no noise when it's growing underground, but one day it breaks the surface and becomes something no one can ignore. Your growth is the same, invisible now, but undeniable later. So lean into the silence, lean into the discomfort. It's not working against you, it's working within you. And it's building the foundation for something real, something lasting, something worth every moment of quiet and every ounce of discomfort you've endured. You must become the person who can handle what you're asking for. It's not just about the dream, it's not just about the goal. It's about who you are when you receive it. Anyone can ask for more, but not everyone is ready for it, because more doesn't just require desire, it demands depth. It calls for strength, it asks for responsibility. You see, the vision you carry has weight, and if you're not built to carry it, it can crush you instead of bless you. That's why the process is so important. That's why the waiting feels long, and the challenges feel personal, because you're not being punished, you're being prepared. You can't skip the internal work and expect to hold an external reward. You can't pray for influence and neglect discipline. You can't desire leadership and avoid accountability. Every level you reach will test what you've built inside. And if you haven't become the person who can stand strong under pressure, the very thing you wanted can slip through your hands. You must grow into the version of yourself that can lead with wisdom, not just chase with excitement. You must learn how to stay grounded when things rise quickly. You must build habits that can support the weight of the life you're asking for. The spotlight doesn't create character, it reveals it. Success doesn't change you, it exposes you. So the time you spend becoming is not a delay, it's a safeguard. There's no shortcut around the internal becoming. Because anything gained without preparation often becomes a lesson instead of a legacy. So if it feels like it's taking longer than you expected, ask yourself this: am I becoming the person who can carry this dream? Am I building the patience, the strength, the humility, the discipline? Or am I hoping to receive what I haven't yet prepared to hold? It's not just about what you want. It's about what you're becoming in the process. Because when the moment arrives, when the opportunity comes, when the door opens, you'll either be ready or you won't. And readiness is never an accident. It's a result. It's the outcome of intentional growth, of quiet sacrifice, of consistent work when no one is watching. So become the person now. Build the strength now. Create the habits now. Because when the dream meets the version of you that's truly ready, that's when everything changes. You must become the person who can handle what you're asking for. It's easy to make the request. It's easy to dream big, speak boldly, and declare what you want from life. But receiving something is not the same as being ready for it, because everything you ask for comes with a weight. And if you're not strong enough to carry it, it won't last. You don't just get the blessing. You get the responsibility. You don't just get the opportunity. You get the pressure. You don't just get the platform. You get the scrutiny. And if you haven't built the character to handle it, it can all slip through your fingers. That's why growth comes first. That's why the process matters. It's not to delay you. It's to develop you. The things you're praying for, the things you're chasing, they're not just about your life. They are about who you're becoming in the process. Because if you receive too soon, without the inner work, what you thought would elevate you could overwhelm you. You want peace, you'll need discipline. You want influence, you'll need humility. You want success, you'll need structure. You want love, you'll need self-awareness. Everything great demands something from you. So the real question isn't just, what do you want? It's, are you becoming the version of you who can hold it, protect it, and grow it? Because if you're asking for something that stretches beyond your current capacity, you must grow into it before it arrives. And that growth often looks like sacrifice. It looks like doing the hard things. It looks like saying no to shortcuts and yes to consistency. It's waking up early when you don't feel like it. It's doing the right thing when no one will know. It's staying grounded when everything inside you wants to rush, You're not being kept from the dream, you're being prepared for it, and that preparation is what gives it roots, so that when it comes, it doesn't break you, it builds you. There's a version of you strong enough to hold what you're asking for, but that version isn't born in ease. It's built in the quiet, in the unseen, in the moments of patience and persistence. So become the person now. Speak like them, think like them, act like them, live like them, before the blessing arrives, because when you become the version of yourself that can truly handle it, you won't just receive it. You'll know how to keep it, grow it, and honor it. Blessings often come disguised in struggle. Not every gift arrives wrapped in joy. Not every breakthrough feels like a celebration when it first shows up. Sometimes, what looks like a setback is really the setup. Sometimes, what feels like pain is the beginning of purpose. We expect blessings to feel light. We expect them to be easy, smooth, and comforting. But more often than not, they arrive wrapped in pressure. They show up as closed doors, unexpected detours, or seasons that test our patience and stretch our strength. Struggle has a way of clearing space. It strips away what's not needed. It reveals what's real. And in the moment, it feels uncomfortable, maybe even unbearable. But later, when you look back, you realize that what broke you also built you. What challenged you also changed you. And what you thought was the end was really the beginning of something better. You see, life doesn't always deliver blessings with clarity. Sometimes it sends them through adversity, because the deepest growth often comes from the deepest pain, and the most powerful lessons are born out of discomfort, not ease. That's why struggle isn't something to run from. It's something to lean into. It's not proof that you're off track. It's often confirmation that something valuable is unfolding, even if you can't see it yet. The blessing may be hidden in the decision you had to make when everything felt uncertain. It may be buried in the habit you built when no one was watching. It may be disguised in the relationship that ended, the job you lost, or the silence you didn't understand. But make no mistake, there was something in it for you, a lesson, a strength, a new path that couldn't have been revealed any other way. The struggle sharpened your focus, it clarified your values, it taught you to trust the process, not just the outcome. And without it, you might not have had the capacity to carry what's coming next. So if you're in a difficult season right now, don't assume it means you're being punished. Don't assume life is against you. Because you might just be standing in the middle of your greatest blessing, you just don't recognize it yet. Keep going, keep growing. One day, the blessing will no longer be hidden, and you'll look back and realize the struggle was the very thing that delivered it. Don't leave the process before it delivers the promise. It's tempting, isn't it, to walk away when it gets hard, to quit when the results are slow, to turn back when you can't see how it's all going to work out. But the process is not your enemy. It's your path. It's the road between where you are and where you're meant to be. And every step, no matter how difficult, is part of something bigger being built within you. The promise is real, the dream is possible, but it requires something from you. It demands patience. It demands consistency. It demands that you stay when everything in you wants to run. The process is where your strength is shaped. It's where your character is carved. It's where the invisible becomes visible, but only in time. And if you leave too soon, you won't just miss the outcome. You'll miss the person you were becoming along the way. There are lessons hidden in the delays. There is wisdom in the waiting. There is beauty being formed in the pressure you don't understand yet. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it. You trust the soil. You stay patient until the roots take hold and the fruit begins to show. Your life is no different. Just because you can't see the change doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because the door hasn't opened yet doesn't mean it's not being prepared for you. Sometimes the process feels longer than you expected because what's coming is bigger than you imagined. and the version of you that asked for it is not the version of you that can hold it yet. So don't quit before the shift. Don't walk away just because it's slow. There's a promise attached to your process, and it's worth every second of faithfulness. You'll never know how close you were if you stop now. You'll never see the harvest if you walk away in the middle of the planting season. Keep showing up. Keep trusting the path. Keep doing the work no one sees. Because that's what leads you to the moment everyone else calls sudden. But you'll know it was built in silence, in struggle, and in unwavering belief. Don't leave the process before it delivers the promise. The process isn't holding you back, it's preparing you to receive what's already yours. You're being prepared to receive something you once weren't ready to carry, and that's not a setback, that's grace. That's alignment. That's life giving you the time, space, and growth you need to become who the next level requires. We often think we're ready just because we want it. Just because we can see the dream clearly in our minds. Just because our hearts are willing, but willingness is not the same as readiness. Desire isn't the same as development, and vision alone won't sustain the weight of reality. Some things are too heavy for the person you used to be, too demanding for the version of you that still needed validation, too sacred to be placed in unsteady hands. So instead of receiving it too early and watching it fall apart, you're being shaped, matured, tested and refined, not to disqualify you but to prepare you, because what's coming requires depth. It requires discipline. It requires clarity, courage, and the ability to hold success with humility. There are some things you prayed for in the past that would have crushed you if you received them then. You didn't have the structure. You didn't have the boundaries. You didn't have the stillness to hold something that great. So life, in its quiet wisdom, delayed the delivery, not to deny you but to develop you, to stretch your character before expanding your influence, to build your roots before exposing your branches. What you're walking through right now might not make sense yet. It may feel like resistance. It may feel like waiting. It may feel like being overlooked. But it's not punishment. It's preparation. It's the work behind the scenes to make sure that when the moment comes, you don't just experience it, you sustain it. You lead it, you protect it, you grow it with wisdom instead of ego, with clarity instead of confusion. So hold steady. Don't rush the timing. Don't despise the slow days. They are not wasted. They are the silent builders of strength you'll need when the weight of your answer finally arrives. Because you're not being held back, you're being built up. And when the right thing meets the right you, everything changes. So when it feels like things are taking longer than you expected, when the waiting stretches you and the process humbles you, remember this: you're not being denied. You're being designed, not for something small, not for something shallow, but for something solid, something lasting, something deeply worth carrying. Trust that the version of you being shaped in the quiet, in the discomfort, in the unseen days is exactly who you'll need to be when everything you've been preparing for finally arrives. Keep building. Keep becoming, because the weight of the blessing ahead requires the strength you're forming right now.